Welcome to Let's Talk About It. I'm Sheena.
And I'm Tamara.
Are you sure you're Tamara?
No, I'm not.
This is weird. Okay. Today we are talking about one of my least favorite things in life, and that is lesbian porn.
I know, because you so prefer straight porn.
You know what my problem is with lesbian porn? And I say lesbian with like air quotes. Because it's created for men. It's not actually created for lesbians. It's not actually real lesbians. It's men's fantasy of lesbians. And this is why I find it so problematic. Is because the lesbian porn now becomes synonymous with being a lesbian, as if we do this to somehow titillate the male gender.
You're right.
Are you just like, okay, that was quite a rant, and I don't know what to say to that?
No, it's just, you're right. Like, I think most porn that's labelled as lesbian is there to titillate men. In fact, I think most porn out there is made for men in mind. I think there's not that much porn that is female friendly. And I think the whole excuse of, well, men are, visual while women are not is utter bullcrap, because I think women can be visually stimulated for sex as well. I just think it's okay for me to watch porn, but it's not okay for women to watch porn.
Yeah, it's definitely one of these double standard type of deals. Now, there's actually a movement going on at the moment online to relabel lesbian porn as something else, because it's not actually lesbian.
Yeah, it's more like girl on girl or something.
Right. Because lesbian is an actual thing.
Mm-hmm. I would actually, one of my biggest issues is that just the term lesbian brings up porn results. Even if you don't put porn in there, it comes up with porn results.
Google's actually been quite good with not putting lesbian and lesbian porn. I know this because I do a lot of lesbian searches. So props to Google. But having said that, take Facebook, for example. Facebook often bans the word lesbian in groups, in pages and things, because it's synonymous with porn. And I'm so frustrated by it, because why is the male gaze determining my sexuality?
It's true. You see, that's why for me it's very important to detangle your sexual orientation away from sexuality. I know that doesn't make sense, but it's just because I'm a lesbian doesn't mean that all I think about is sleeping with women, You
don't?
No, and I don't know if I'm coming across correctly, but there's this thing when you're coming out to someone, you're pretty much telling them that you sleep with women,
Mm-hmm.
So there is a sexual thing to it, and I get that that's, one of the biggest differences, but
no, I think
it's a problem. It's like my identity shouldn't be tied up with sex.
I understand what you're saying, okay, but now today we're talking about lesbian porn.
Yes, I know.
Which is a specific thing. Now, here's a couple of reasons why lesbian porn particularly is not actually representative of lesbians at all, apart from the fact that it's catered towards men. One of the things is there will always be some kind of strap-on dildo penetrative thing, and very often it seems to be, and I'm speaking here just from my limited watching of lesbian porn, so I stand to be corrected, but there seems to always be a kind of an oral sex element to the dildo, as if it's
pleasurable to suck on a dildo.
Right. I don't know, the dildo doesn't seem to be getting that much pleasure from it. It's kind of like, I don't know, was it dipped in ice cream or chocolate?
I know, you might as well make it a lollipop, at least you can get something out of it.
I think there's a market for that. Let's investigate starting a lollipop dildo line. It's almost like they can't conceptualize female sex without some sort of
phallic something.
Right. Okay. Then there's penetration, which not all lesbians want, or whatever it is. But there's very little sex acts that are actually very lesbian.
Yeah, I think a lot of it is that the emphasis is put on things like the penetration, and you'll get close-ups of that and that kind of a thing, and it's not necessarily something that women would really get any satisfaction out of. I mean, half the time these women are kind of bored and are just making lots of noise.
I think I'd also be bored if that was what was happening to me. Hence the lollipop. I think the lollipop is a good plan. It's at least a little bit entertaining.
I like a market for, sex sweets. Copyright pending.
So I think lesbian porn is problematic, and I do think that we need to encourage this movement to move away from calling it lesbian porn.
I agree. So
I'm all for lesbian porn, but then let's make porn for lesbians.
okay, but how do you go about? Because I think it is a bigger problem. I don't think it is just about lesbians. I think it's about porn that's happy for women, just generally. Because I think.
Yeah.
But how do you go about doing that?
Well, I think things like Emmanuel has got a better track of getting closer than straight up hardcore porn. Because, sure, while there's not explicit penetrative sex and that sort of thing in it, there's much more kind of like there's a storyline going. It's a shit storyline, but there's a storyline going, and you can be explicit without
being gross.
But do it romantically, almost. Do you know what I mean? Because I think that sensually would target us better. At least I imagine so.
Well, look, I don't think every woman needs a romantic whatever to get off. Like, I think, sometimes it is just about the sexiness of the sex.
But it's not sexy to have harsh lighting with graphic penetration. It just isn't.
No. So I think what would be helpful is if you have women producing this, firstly.
Absolutely.
Have lesbians producing it.
Mm-hmm.
And having actors who know what it's like to have lesbian sex.
Good lesbian sex.
Yes.
Not pretend lesbian sex. Which I find, I watch supposed lesbian porn and I'm going, that doesn't look comfortable. Or, that...
Or that doesn't even look like it's doing anything, because
that nothing is like touching. 5 kilometers away from that chick's clit. It's like that strap-on is way too loose for anything to be happening there. But it's about understanding and knowing and targeting the right target market, I think. Do you think gay porn, do you think it's the same? Do you think gay guys watch it, or do you think straight women watch gay porn?
No, I think gay men watch gay porn. Possibly straight men too. I think it's different to the straight women reading gay literature.
Yeah.
Because I think the gay literature might have like much more romance or whatever in it. But porn is quite like harsh. And I've never watched gay porn, but I would assume it's as harsh as straight porn, and I'm guessing that it's like even more penetrative sometimes. I don't know.
Well, I imagine just instead of a woman, there'd be a guy who's...
No, it just seems like it would be even more graphic. I don't know.
Well, I don't know. Straight porn is quite graphic, hey?
It is.
So I think lesbian porn is problematic. I think we need to figure out how to reclaim the word lesbian, and we shouldn't be we should not be encouraging lesbian porn. We should be trying to get them to phrase it differently.
Something I just thought of is that whether you like it or not, porn, I think, plays an important part in most people's growing up and discovering of sex in some way. And I think it's important for lesbians, women, girls, whatever, to have portrayals of sex where women are actually getting off by getting off, and where it's done in such a way where the women are in a place of power, where they're enjoying themselves, and not in a place where, they're being rammed into just because that's what men think is sexy.
I agree with that entirely. I also think creative sex is important, and this is one of the things that I so look forward to in sex scenes in lesbian literature when they're done right, is that it gives me a wider universe of sexual positions, of ways of having sex, of interesting techniques, and I'm like, oh, that's interesting, let me try that, right? Because why not?
Sure. I think, lesbian porn should put women in a power position, and not in a dominant kind of way, just in a woman owning their sexuality kind of way.
And owning that it's okay for you to say, that feels good, do that more.
And putting the emphasis on a woman feeling pleasure and a woman having an orgasm, or both women having an orgasm. And even showing things like, you don't need to be penetrated to have an orgasm or to enjoy sex.
And it doesn't always have to be, there's the formula of oral sex then.
Yeah, it's like a tick list.
Right? We should start a lesbian sex tick list.
That's hilarious.
Alright, so if you have other topics you wanted to talk about in terms of lesbian myths, lesbian issues, whatever it is, talk to us, email us on podcast@thelesbiantalkshow.com.
And come and chat to us over on our Facebook group, the Lesbian Talk Show chat group.
And you can come make friends with me on Facebook too. You can find me on the Lesbian Talk Show chat group. I'm Sheena.
And I'm Tamara.
And don't forget to rate this podcast on iTunes. Go rate it on iTunes. Give us lots of stars. Because what happens is the more stars we get, the higher we rank, the more chances of us being found by other listeners.
Yes, and if you think a friend of yours, family member, someone, stranger, your frenemy would like to hear this, share it with them.
Yes. Share it with your boss if your boss is open-minded. Hey, boss, listen about lesbian porn.
Yeah, probably don't do that. Unless your boss is someone in the porn industry.
Yeah, probably don't do that either.
Okay, don't take her advice from us.
No, it's okay.
But please do go like our podcast.
So rate it. Okay.
Bye.
Bye.
It's holiday time. It's like hammer time, but with holidays. Holiday.